Hi, guys. This message is for my collective, anyone who the title resonates with. Some of you it'll resonate with, some of you may not. Take what does apply and let the rest fly. It is December 28th, but of course, when you see this, it's when you're meant to see it. So, collective, what I'm getting overall energy, is addressing addictions, toxic behaviors, toxic patterns, toxic thoughts, toxic people, addictions, obsessions. Um, and that's sex, that's food, that's drinking, that's smoking, that's cigarettes, that's thoughts, anything. And toxicity is the cause of keeping you stuck, or that causes you to feel stuck. And, it's really knowing if, and the first way to start correcting that is first accepting that there is an issue, there is a problem, knowing that something is not good for you. And toxicity can be anything done in excess, obsessive thoughts, sex, drugs, alcohol, cigarettes, weed, whatever it is, illegal activity, people who do illegal activity, any person who does anything in excess, and this is what causes you to be stuck. And this could be you dealing with people who have these toxic patterns, behaviors, and beliefs. And a lot of you, it could be dealing with people based upon sex. A lot of the relationships are sex driven, or, sex happens way quicker than getting to know someone. Maybe getting in a toxic relationship and enabling someone, and it's first recognizing that someone or something is toxic. Someone or something causes you to be toxic, and it could be due to sex, it could be whatever it is, and it's keeping a stronghold on you. It keeps you tied in. Some of you, it's someone keeps you tied in a relationship due to sex, and it's like, how do I heal that? How do I begin to not allow that to control me or drive me, right? And that's first becoming aware of it and accepting it, recognizing and realizing that's all there is, and this is toxic and I'm not growing from this. And then you have to start holding back, finding that strength and courage when that toxic person reaches out or sends you a message or an invite into any kind of toxic behavior. That's saying no, right? That's ignoring it, that's holding back. And it's going to take a lot in you to do this, because you may be accustomed to dealing with this person. You may like, the toxicity in it, or the obsession, or what a person does to you or for you. But you have to know that that's all there's going to be. It's never going to allow you to grow, and it's never going to um expand anything for you when it comes to stability, when it comes to loyalty. And and there's karma involved in that. For what goes around comes around, right? And it's recognizing you need to heal these toxic patterns, thoughts, and beliefs within you, to stop overthinking about a person or situation, to stop these toxic patterns and beliefs, or thinking you need these toxic people or toxic ways and things to make you feel better in life, when in reality it just keeps you stuck. And there's a strong need here to find that strength and courage to tell people no, to hold back from sex in general. This is big important, like holding back from engaging in sexual activity. And it could be with a particular person, or it could just be in general, because you could allow sex to allow you to deal with an individual, and that relationship ends up toxic, or that person has addictions, and your relationship never progresses because that person's so focused on their addictions, or your relationship never progresses because you're addicted to this person or the things you guys do or whatever, and you keep giving in, and there's no change ever going to happen from that. So that keeps you stuck. So it's gaining a new perspective and becoming enlightened about toxic people, your toxic patterns and beliefs. Some of you, it's not people or even sex. Some of you, it's your own addictions that need addressed. Like maybe you've been smoking cigarettes for 30, 40 years, especially when stressed, and you look at it as some kind of stress relief, but really it's just it's the mind. It's a toxic pattern. The mind is telling you, oh, I need that because I'm stressed, or I got to do this because of this. It's changing the mind, it's changing those thoughts, because those thoughts make you take action. Those thoughts are keeping you stuck. And this could be dealing with a person, it's reversing those thoughts that keep you stuck. It's trusting your self intuition when your self tells you you shouldn't do something or you shouldn't deal with the person, because our body will feel it. Our initial thoughts, like in the back of my mind, and I've done this before, my mind will be like, no, but I want to, I'll take action. But my mind the whole time was saying, I should not go and do that. I should not deal with that person. I should not have sex with that person, things like that. It's trusting your tuition. That's another way to start changing this, by listening to your tuition. And it takes a lot of strength and courage, especially if you're accustomed to doing something, especially if you like it, especially if it's, if it comes to sex and it's good, but the person doesn't offer you anything else. And that's just an example. It's hard to hold back from that because your mind's telling you, you want to feel that, you want to do that. And you got to find that strength and courage to say no. When you know something is no good for you or a person, in order to truly move forward in life and to no longer be stuck in these emotions and in the negativity and the things that aren't moving forward, things that aren't loving you right or showing you emotions and caring for you in the right way, you got to start recognizing that and gaining that new perspective and becoming enlightened. And not, some of you may already be aware and enlightened, but you're just not taking action. Refusing to let something go, holding on to something, allowing a person to have a strong hold on you. And a lot of you, it is due to sex, it's going within and telling people no, holding back from these things. Some of you, it's your own patterns and habits. It's holding back and it's trying. It doesn't happen overnight. You got to first start trying it. You might say no the first time, but the second time you give in. And then when it comes back around, you said no the first 2 times and the third time. As you gain that resistance in that time, you're working on it. And then eventually you can say no altogether because you're healing, right? It gets better and better and better as time goes on. But you got to take that action for that change. And if there's no action that gets taken, you just remain stuck. And you never truly gain that happiness. You never truly reach anything. And eventually, those things end up ending anyway. And sometimes it's a harsh ending. It could be dealing with a person, it could be personal things. It comes through a harsh ending when we're moving off toxicities, obsessions, and negativity versus things of the light, listening to oneself, loving oneself, having these boundaries, putting them up, seeking the help you need. If you need help, there's professional help, even if it comes to sex addictions, even if it comes to whatever, and that takes time. You got to put in time to see results, to start changing that, because it depends on how long you've been this type of way, how long you've been doing something, but there's a change trying to happen here, a big change, but you got to be willing to put in the work. What you give is what you get. And if you're giving and receiving to the wrong people, or you've been breadcrumbed by people or in relationships and things, that's because you are dealing with someone who has addictions, and a lot of people aren't addressing their own addictions, or someone you're dealing with is not addressing those addictions. And and some people, if it's your own addictions, you really feel stuck on, how do I even heal this? Well, it all starts with becoming aware of what it is, and that it's an issue or a problem or a person is, and it's starting to hold back, telling people no, ignoring people, blocking people, whatever you got to do. Because at the end of the day, these people with these addictions, or you with your own addictions and obsessions, it always ends in regret. And a lot of these addictions or ways are caused due to things of the past, not being able to get over past hurts, pains. It's due to emotions. Emotions cause you to be hurt or depressed in a way that it allows you to continue doing things. It enables you into toxic behaviors, and it allows you to deal with toxic people or toxic things yourself. And once you start loving you and becoming aware that this is no good for your body, this is no good for your mental health, And when you start to love you, you don't put certain things in your body. You don't eat certain things. You don't have sex with certain people. You're not reckless with your sexual health. You don't deal with people who are. You're not quick to have sex with somebody. You're not quick to allow someone to do that with you. And that's operating out of your greatest good and committing to yourself. And a lot of you, it's like, doing a time period of holding back from sexual activity. Addictions, it could be many other things. And this is an example. A lot of people don't go celibate for a while. There are people out there, but the reason you remain stuck in these toxic relationships, these toxic patterns or habits and beliefs, is because there's lack of self-love there. There's lack of enlightenment about life in general and what it's all about. And when people haven't loved you the way they should have, that can cause deep depression and regret. And that can make a person do toxic things or date toxic people. Not healing from the past hurts, but it comes more of understanding a person did you wrong, or that family member, that mother or father hurt you because they didn't feel love themselves. They didn't have self-love. So even when it comes down to parents, if the parents don't love themselves, they can't even love their child properly. That's an example, collective. It's becoming enlightened and digging deep so you can become aware of why you do what you do. So you can become aware of why you engage in these toxic behaviors, or you have these addictions, or you deal with people with these issues. And some people, the addictions are becoming too much to deal with. Having to work and deal with people you don't want to, having to put in all this extra work to satisfy oneself, and at the end of the day you still feel stuck. It's always going to end in some kind of regret if it's toxic or if it's unhealthy. It can cause health issues, and it's beginning to heal that, or realizing that those things need heal. But you got to first understand what caused you and why you're doing it, or why you're dealing with a person. A lot of you need to stop dealing with people who have addictions, or if it's just driven off sex. Controlling your impulses, having that self-discipline, having that strength and courage to say no when you know it's no good for you, even if you like it. There's certain people you need to hold back from communicating with, not taking quick action towards the things that look nice, or a person, or the shiny things. Or some of you, some people are just addicted to money, or addicted to doing wrong things and how they get money. And some people will hurt anyone or anything to get what they want. Making sure you're not dealing with people like that, or you're not doing that. They say secrets keep us sick, not secretly dealing with people on the side, or dealing with someone who secretly deals with people on the side. And a lot of these relationships go wrong because people had sex way too quick, or there was attraction and people had sex, along those lines, and didn't get to know a person. And then they have these babies and start these families, and then get upset when that person isn't playing their role or being the father or mother they should be. Well, was there stability from the beginning? Was there any kind of loyalty showed? Was it just based off sex, and then someone ended up pregnant within 6 months, sometimes right away? Of course, that's going to be as what they call karmic, lessons being learned through moving too quickly, or being reckless, and then expecting a commitment out of a situation like that, when if two people move too quickly to be in a relationship, or their relationship was, they could have an alcohol addiction or do this, and that's all they do together. And then you get together, and then you think there's emotions and feelings, and then you expect a commitment. That's not reality, or why a person takes forever to commit. If a person takes forever to commit, they got other addictions going on, and addictions aren't always just drugs. It's sex, it's porn, it's lust, all these different things. And this is what takes them forever to commit. This is why they can't commit, because they're so distracted by toxicity that they make poor decisions. And a lot of you could be dealing with people like that, or this is your own issue. You're so distracted by the toxic things in life. Sex is so important that you'll deal with things you shouldn't be dealing with, or the cigarettes are so important that you're smoking around them with the children in the car, in the house. And of course, 9 times out of 10, that child might smoke cigarettes. And at the end of the day, it's not good for the health. And that's just an example, making sure you're not rubbing that toxicity and addictions off on others, because there's people always watching, especially if there's children. And that's just an example, you know. And there's just, it's reevaluating who you link up with, who you party with, who you lay down with. Willing to let, some of you it's alcohol, willing, needing to work on drinking alcohol, or partying, or dealing with people who just partying every day or a lot is their main priority. Seeing that for what it is and blocking that out your life, because you don't want that energy rubbed off to you. And it's becoming enlightened about people who try to manipulate you, people who use you for what you got, to enable their addictions, address their toxic behaviors, and not expecting stability and commitments out of people. Like, if a person drinks every day or drinks every other day, I would not expect a stability and commitment out of that person. You know what I mean? That's just an example, because that person likes to mind alter their way in some shape or form regularly. This is not like someone who's responsibly, but they got stability, they take care of their kids, they've grown emotionally, they're mature and all these things. No, you cannot expect anything to come out of a toxic relationship or a person who has addictions. Because those people are invested in scheming and plotting. It's all about what they can get, how to feed that addiction, how to feed the sex, how to, and that's like an energy of always searching for the next best thing, or who can invest in me, making sure you're not dealing with people like that, because in return you end up getting rejected for the next third party or feeling left out. And that's because when it comes to addictions, people are always searching for that next person who's doing the same thing, or that new adrenaline rush, that new thing, or whatever it is. And when people have addictions, they tend to move recklessly sexually, or they will do things sexually quicker than normal because they're under the influence, those kind of things. Making sure you're not doing that as well. Maybe for some of you, when you drink, you may move quicker sexually than what you do sober. And it's recognizing that, keeping that in mind, and that causes conflict in your life. Or if people who are feeling stuck, it's because there's people and things in your energy that need addressed, who do not belong there, who do not mean good. It's recognizing how recklessly you deal with people, or how quick, just because someone showed a little emotion or attention or told you I love you, and you chose to be blind to the truth, to all their toxic ways and behaviors and patterns, so much so that at the end of the day, it drained you more than it drained them, allowing your emotions and your feelings to ignore red flags, to ignore you going within to heal that aspect and some of you had to heal your own addictions. Some of you have worked on things, and you cannot work on these things if you continue to be in those environments, if you continue to deal with people in those environments, if you continue to allow sex to be, or to drive you to get in relationships, or the only reason to deal with a person, or the only thing a person has to offer you, and you take that without anything else in return. There's always going to be karma for that. That's going to end in betrayal, hurt, and regret, because at the end of the day, a person's addictions comes first. And if they have that addictive behavior and they moved quick with you, or you move quick with them, they'll do that to the next, So this is where self-love comes into play, and reassessing your goals and what you spend on, your saving. Like, do you have goals? Things like that. Are you focused on your stability? These toxic people, relationships, or patterns, or habits affect your finances. So much so, it affects your heart space. It always leaves you heartbroken or put in a third party, because you refuse to heal a certain aspect within you, whether it's your own addictions, or whether it's dealing with people or toxic relationships, or allowing sex, being sex driven, getting in relationships based, needing that sexual energy, feeling like you need to have sex regularly, or from a person that you'll get in anything involved, realizing not doing your research, or willing to be an option to the next person, or giving yourself all these excuses and reasons why you should deal with the person. Well, if I let them go, I won't be having sex. I don't want to go find someone new. And this is just an example. Okay, let's take sex out of it. How about trying without having sex? Because that's the only way you can heal. You can't truly heal if you constantly have someone in your life, or constantly feel like you need to be in some kind of relationship, dating, entertaining, or talking to someone. That puts blockages on your life. Or dealing with people who breadcrumb you or don't offer you much, and then you end up feeling left out in the cold because you still haven't healed that certain aspect of you, of why you allowed it, or why you settled for less, not knowing your self-worth and value, not focused on your stability and boundaries, allowing people to come in and lie, and who want to take from you and who want to win at all costs. It's closing out those cycles, in order to truly move forward. And that's receiving enlightenment. If you want that Empress and Emperor connection, boss energy, it's first you got to learn of what that consists of, because you'll never truly get that true divine pair if you don't heal things within you, if you continue to deal with toxic people, patterns, and beliefs, if you continue to have your own toxic habits and things, that aren't good for you, but it's hard, but you like it, or you keep doing it. If you don't work on those and heal those, or become enlightened of what it takes to be the Empress or Emperor, all the connections from this moment forward are going to be either people sent in to teach you a lesson of self-worth and self-value, which comes through heartbreak, third parties, lying, cheating. Or if it's just always based upon sex and you're willing to do that, or feel like you got to have sex in your life so you can't hold back from people, or you can't go a period of time in your life to truly heal and devote that to you, you're going to attract like-minded individuals who don't do the same. So until you become enlightened and aware and recognize that, and then give yourself time and hold back on those impulses, these toxic behaviors, people, patterns, and beliefs, you never can truly heal. You got to trust your intuition. This is what keeps you stuck in relationships, or dealing with people, or stuck in your own toxic patterns and ways. Things can't move forward. You'll never attract what your heart truly desires, because you aren't operating in that same energy yourself. So that's what I got for you guys for the energy for today. Like, share, subscribe.